for the division. Thank you. That was our reminder to set the recording, so thank you. I'm also going to be the state director for this project, so I just want to say thank you all so much for coming out today. We've got a large audience here in the room, and thanks y'all for braving the weather. I know it was kind of dicey and supposed to kind of get bad this afternoon, so thanks for being here this morning. We also have a large group of us on the Zoom, so we want to certainly thank them and ask them to participate in the meeting as well. They can send in their questions on the chat, and we will get back to those after today's meeting. So really, today's an exciting time for us here at DHS. We've been working behind the scenes for over 3 years to get to this day. In today's kickoff, I'm thrilled to get to introduce you all to the members of the team who are going to be making this project a success. You're going to get to see a high-level overview of the project timeline. You'll get to see a small demo of some of the awesome features from the NCase solution, and we'll be announcing the name of the new system. And then lastly, there's going to be a time at the end for what's coming next and how you all can stay involved. Again, if you have questions, please feel free at the end to kind of catch one of us, and we will try to answer those questions for you. We're going to begin this morning by introducing you to 2 of the executive sponsors for this project. So the first one is DCFS Director, Misha Martin. Most of you all know Ms. Martin. She began her career at DHS in 2008, working in the field, representing caseworkers and investigators in court for dependency neglect hearings. Ms. Martin quickly rose through the ranks, and in 2016, she was named the director of the division. From her time in the courtroom to her time leading the division, protecting children and providing them with a safe, stable home has always been her passion. One of Ms. Martin's goals as DCFS director was to procure a new case management system because she understands how hard of a job the caseworkers have, and equipping them with a new modern system was a necessity for improving the outcomes for our families. So please help me welcome Director Misha Martin.
Good morning, everyone. Hopefully you can hear me in the back. I'm going to try and speak loudly. Thank you so much to Miranda. You guys, Miranda has done so much work over the last 3 years. And as she said, 3 years, but really the system has been being in the making for the last 6. So 6 years ago, we started trying to figure out how do we make sure we have the funds to procure a new case management system. So that work started 6 years ago. And if you're thinking, how in the world did it take 3 years to get here to just have a contract? I like to think that it took us 3 years because we were really dedicated to doing something innovative, not just replacing Chris, but thinking big, thinking about how we can have a new case management system that not only supports our workers, whether it's mobile and in the field, whether it's having access from any location that doesn't have service, to how do we engage with clients? How do we use our case management system as a tool that supports engagement with clients? How do we think not just about how it impacts our staff in the field and actually improves practice, not just collects data, but how do we work with our partners? How do we have good interfaces that also improve their work? So in the room, there's so many partners, and I don't want to miss anybody, but our legal team and the AOC and CACD and our finance team and so many others that are in the room and on Zoom, that this system is going to impact you all. One system that supports the entire child welfare system, not just DCFS. So together, we can serve children and families. Together, we can do what is best and make good decisions. So I am so excited. I'm excited to work with all our partners that you're going to meet, Redmayne and NCT Data and Maximus. I mean, all of these partners are coming alongside of us and are aligned with our values that every child needs a safe, supportive family every day. But let me tell you, even though I'm excited and it feels very real today that this is actually happening, we have a long road ahead of us. We have to think innovatively. We have to work together. There's going to be times that you're frustrated with us. There's going to be times that we're frustrated with you. But we're going to have to step back and work together to, in the end, do what's best for children and families. And that means we have a strong case management system. So, and we have a workforce shortage. So we need all of you that are subject matter experts in here and on Zoom to make this a priority, to see the end game, to see that if we invest and make this a priority, we can really have systematic change. So I encourage you to be excited today, but in 2 weeks when the work gets harder, in 2 months and 3 months when the work gets harder, check back in, be excited, see the bigger picture, know that this can really impact your workers if you're a supervisor, your kids, if you're a caseworker, your families. It can really make a difference. So I just encourage you all to stay excited, stay checked in, and come alongside of us, because it is going to take all of us to do this huge transformational change. So thank you, Miranda.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Our second executive sponsor for this project is Mr. Jeff Dean, the Chief Information Officer at DHS. Unfortunately, Jeff could not be here today, so we have the Deputy Chief Information Officer, Ms. Kim Gardner, will be joining us next. Ms. Gardner may be new to her role as the Deputy CIO at DHS, but she's certainly no stranger to IT projects. Ms. Gardner is just now coming off of one of the largest projects at DHS, the Integrated Eligibility System, better known to all of us as ARIES. So ARIES was designed to make applying for Medicaid and SNAP benefits less complicated for the citizens and to streamline the work for the DHS staff. Ms. Gardner will bring her expertise in large-scale system enhancements to this project, which will help ensure that we have the most efficient system possible for workers, attorneys, providers, and other stakeholders. So please help me welcome Ms. Kim Gardner.
Thank you, Miranda, and good morning to everyone. I bring you greetings on behalf of the Office of Information Technology, where Jeff Dean is our Chief Information Officer, and where he likes to say that he is the chief geek at DHS, and he is one of our executive sponsors, as Miranda mentioned. The Office of Information Technology is responsible for information technology solutions that support the mission of DHS. We are committed to supporting our division partners as they embrace new technology that supports the important delivery of human services to Arkansas citizens. That is why we are excited about this opportunity to bring a state-of-the-art solution to support child welfare clients. The CRIS system is one of our oldest applications in the OIT portfolio. It has served DHS for over 20 years. The time has come to modernize a system that services the state's most precious population, our children and our families. As with any new system enhancement, we know change is hard. Adopting a new system can be very challenging, I know firsthand, yet it can be very rewarding. A great deal of effort and intentionality was exercised in choosing this system. It is our sincere hope that end users will fall in love with the technology and its capabilities. OIT is looking forward to a successful partnership with our CWIS vendors and is happy to support DCFS in this exciting launch. Welcome to Arkansas.
Appreciate that. So as we began preparing for today's meeting, we started doing some reminiscing at the office. And of course, some people were around when Chris started. A very trusted and dear friend of mine, one of our colleagues, was talking to us about what it was like at their office when Chris was getting ready to roll out. So back then, computers were still kind of new, and the supervisors actually practiced sending documents back and forth to each other, so that just so they would have like a system to kind of get used to working in. So when I began in 2003 as a caseworker, they handed me a paper map of my county, and we had a pager for on call. So even back then, payphones were kind of still around, but going back to the office at the end of the day to enter our notes in Chris, that was just a normal part of the day. But y'all, my goodness, how times have changed. Nowadays, we still have to go to the office and put our notes into Chris. But nowadays, most people walk around with at least, a computer or phone in their pocket, and some of us in here carry 2 of those at oftentimes. But we plan to take advantage of that new innovative technology to improve the work that's done with families. I am inspired daily by the work that is done in the field. Under Director Martin's leadership, our focus has always been on making sure that children in Arkansas have a safe, stable home every day. We will work to ensure the new system bridges the gap between the engagement work that is done in the home and the required documentation that it takes to maintain a case record. I believe our new system will connect foster parents, placement providers, school officials, the court system, and many others as it has never done before. I believe our system will, our families are like diamonds in the rough, and we have to make sure and enhance those families with services and connections to bring out the very best in each of them. And we hope to help them reach their fullest potential. As we begin on this journey, I can't help but think that Arkansas is once again a trailblazer in our efforts to become one of the first states with a new comprehensive child welfare information system. I'm thrilled to be working with the partners at Redmayne and other partners to help make this vision a success. I'd like to introduce you all to Nolena Garrison, the DCFS IT manager. Introduce Jack Anderson, our senior engineer. We're going to be integral in making this project a success. Next, I would like to introduce you all to 3 of our contract partners who are going to be helping along this project. Mr. Jeff Dolan is the general manager of Redmayne Technology. Mr. JJ Dunn is the director of this, the account director with NTT Data, and we have Stephen Tongi with Maximus. So, gentlemen.
Good morning, everybody. As Miranda said, I'm Jeff Dolan, General Manager for Redmayne's U.S. Public Sector Practice. And on behalf of the Redmayne leadership team, everybody at Redmayne, I just want to first say thank you. We are thrilled to be part of your initiative. We're thrilled to be your partner in this. You know, in the history of our company, we've done quite a bit of health and human services work. In fact, that's the vast majority of the business that we do today at Redmayne. And over the course of the decades doing that kind of work, we've developed a real respect and appreciation for the work that is done, the difficult work, the challenging work, the thankless jobs. And I just want to say, you know, we are truly in awe of all of you and the work that you do. We're thrilled to be kicking this project off today during the special month for preventing child abuse. So a coincidence perhaps, but a really cool one. So we look forward to the project. We look forward to partnering with you and getting to know you all. We recognize that our role in your ultimate success is a small, modest role. Getting the system right is just a part of it. We often say that in these kinds of projects, multi-year projects, at a certain point, the technology becomes the easy part, and the people part is the challenge, and the change, and the training, and the impact to the organization, and really finding ways we can impact the work that you're doing very positively. So again, we're humbled to be part of that effort, and we look forward to an excellent ride. And before I sign off, I do want to ask the Redmainers in the room to please stand up. This is your core project team. I've seen quite a bit of these folks, and we've already seen a bit of them over the past few weeks as we get things started. So thanks again.
So again, Brent said, JJ Dunn, I'm the account director for NTT Data in Arkansas. We're excited to be here. We've been in Arkansas for several years, partnering with the agency and their Medicaid areas and then other small mid-range projects. But I'll tell you, we're extremely excited to be part of this. The 3-year window that you mentioned, we were part of that. We've been here from the beginning, working with the state. And a lot of times I say we, people are asking, who's we? We's Arkansas. This is us. And we're here to make this project successful. And going to go back to what Bishop was talking about earlier. Through this project, there'll be times where we're frustrated, we're aggravated, you know, whatever. But I want you to understand there's passion to do the right thing for the children and the families of Arkansas. And I'm a dad of multiple children. I always tell my children as soon as possible. Right. So when you get that email or you get whatever that comes across, it doesn't reach us right. It's as soon as possible. The goal here is to put it on a system that's going to be beneficial for us to use. But more importantly, it's going to keep our children and families safe. And that's what our program is. So we're looking forward to being part of this, working with Redmayne, Maximus, and the state. This is an exciting time. So I do have some team members from NTT Data in the room and others that are watching by Zoom, but NTT Data, see which people team members you stand up for.
Thanks, JJ. Hello, my name is Stephen Tongi. I'm with Maximus Incorporated. We're the IVAV vendor for the project. So what is IVAV? It's independent verification and validation. What is that? Right. Basically, we are I'd like to think of it as a broad quality assurance function that we serve, working collaboratively with Miranda at the state and Jeff at Redmayne and JJ at PMO and TT Data to make sure that the goals and objectives of the CWIS project are achieved. So that's our primary role, and we're happy to be here. And by the way, we're also a part with the IVD vendor for the Aries project, which is in MNO right now, I believe. And we have some team members that are attending virtually, so hello, just wave up. But it's something we're very happy to do.
It's exciting. We've got lots of team members, and I appreciate them all standing because it's a team effort and it takes us all. So next, I'm going to introduce you all to Doug Morslock. He's the project manager with Redmayne Technology. He's going to walk us through a high-level overview and to kind of give us the NCase demo. So Doug.
Thank you, Miranda. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I am really pleased to be here. It's a great privilege to be in Arkansas. We have been waiting a long time at Redmayne to partner with you. And now that we're here, we're ready to get to work. So this is going to be a 22-month project. And I can tell you, we have some of the best and brightest people, not only on our team, but with the PMO at NTT Data and Maximus. So I want you to be assured that we're fully committed to making Arkansas a success with your new child welfare system. Child welfare is an incredibly difficult business. There needs to be tools that empower and enable workers to get their work done. Because if you know the attrition rate, and if you know how people have to do their job now, the technology just isn't up to snuff, right? So that's what we're going to bring to Arkansas. The NCase product is very contemporary. It's mobile. You can use it online, offline. It enables workers to do work with families. So going back to the office is only an option. And sometimes, it's just better to do work in the field with your families or wherever you need to do business with us, or, the hospital. So what I want to do now is talk about the roadmap. 2 phases, right? 2 releases. We're going to actually roll out the intake and referrals first. We're going to work with the state police, right? So we're going to take that as the very first part of the project. And that allows us to take a lot of lessons learned, right? Because this is a big system. It's going to cover a lot of child welfare activities. So we're going to start small. We're going to do intake and referrals. We're going to roll it out with the state police. That'll take us about 12 months. In that 12 months, we're going to do the design, configuration, testing, and then we're going to implement, right? But we're going to support all of this work with dedicated change management and training. So what is that? Those are activities for communication, for engagement, for training users on how to actually use the system, right? But within 12 months, we'll go live with referrals. So you'll be doing your intakes in NCase. Well, you'll do it in the new Arkansas system. So on the next slide, we have phase 2. Phase 2 is the remainder of the child welfare system. This will take us a little bit longer. It's going to be 22 months, right? But in that time, again, it's going to be full design, configuration, test, and implementation. Now, one of the things we have to do when we move away from the legacy system is we're going to have to take all that data that we have in Chris, move it over to the new system so that your case records stay whole and intact. So we'll do that as part of data conversion. We'll also move over the exchanges because any child welfare system needs information from other systems. So we'll be building new exchanges to those new partner systems, okay? Again, change management training, crucial part. That'll be included. So we'll engage all those folks in the different program areas with communication, engagement activities, and then we'll also provide training to support the implementation and rollout. So where do you fit in this picture? If we go to the next slide, there are a number of activities throughout the entire project. We engaged all of you to help support building out the new application. As Jeff said, it's very easy on the technology side. We could build this system probably in about 6 months. But really, for it to work for you, for it to work to service children and families, we need your involvement. We need to understand how the work is done. We need to really take that expertise that actually is in the field and bring it inside so that we can actually make sure our requirements are accurate, right? Is it really going to provide the value we expect, right? We can only gauge that by working with you. Then we're going to design the application, right? Different program areas will be developed modularly. So we'll do provider management, we'll do case management, client management. All of those will involve folks, right? And we call that joint application design, where we have sessions, we create the design, and then those designs will actually be configured, right? Something unique about this project that we don't see often in the field of child welfare is we're going to have preview sessions during the project where we can actually see the working software. It won't be the finished product, but at least you'll get a glimpse of how we're developing the application. We do that for two reasons. One, we want your engagement. Like Nisha said, it's going to get tough along the way, right? So what we want to be able to do is bring people in, show them what we've developed, and also capture any feedback that's available to us so that we can continue refining the process and making sure that the system is going to be just right when we roll it out. We have user acceptance. This is the activity where we actually fully test the system, make sure all the bugs are actually, tested, resolved, and it's ready to go for rollout. Then we'll have communication, change management, and training activities. And again, this is where we engage you. We provide information, communication, engagement, and training. And then finally, the implementation of Go Live. This is a very large system and it's very old. So to be able to transition from that system to the new system, we'll have implementation activities that we'll be working with folks in the field, in the regions, and in the offices to make sure that when we go from Chris to the new system, that the transition is as easy as possible. All change is hard, right? But we're gonna work hard on our side to make sure that the transition is effective for you, that you can actually know when we're doing things, how to actually get on the new system, how to get to your caseloads. So that's in a nutshell on how we're going to involve you. And I really encourage you, if you have the opportunity, to be involved throughout the entire project. And now, if we go to the next slide, it's time to show you a little bit about NCase. Now, NCase is a very contemporary system, and it's highly configurable, which means that we can make changes relatively quickly, unlike the old systems where you have to do a lot of coding. So it gives us a lot of opportunities to work with the clients to make sure as we're configuring it, that it really reflects the business. The other component that's really awesome about NCase is the fact that it can work in offline and online mode, which means that you don't have to have a cellular connection or a Wi-Fi connection to use it. So if you're working with a family and there is no signal on your phone or Wi-Fi, you can still do work in NCase, and you'll be able to do that. And that's a great feature. I think that the other component is that it's very easy to find information. The navigation is very intuitive. It's been built by social workers, right? So that's a real differentiator for Arkansas, is that this actually reflects how work gets done. And actually, we're going to show you some of those features right now. I'm going to turn it over to Supante and to Rebecca, who are two of our Red Main DAs, who are going to walk you through a short demo.
Yeah, thanks, Doug. So let me switch over my screen for a little bit and kind of talk a little bit about the peek that we're going to give you at the NCase application.
Well, Monty, I can't hear you back here, just to let you know that.
Okay, I'll try to project a little bit more. Is that better?
Thank you.
Okay. All right, so as Doug mentioned, I'm Supante Napapali. I'm a business analyst at Red Main.
And I'm Rebecca Bass, I'm a business analyst at Red Main.
So we'll be giving you a very brief tour of the NCase application today, and just give you a peek at some of the features and the capabilities that we are excited to bring you here in Arkansas. Of course, we're all here at this kickoff day because we are just about to embark on a joint effort to design and create the eventual CWIS solution that's exactly suited to the state of Arkansas needs. So what we're going to show you today is really just to give you an idea.
Online, you're on, but up there, you're not.
But yeah, we're really just here to give you an idea of the possibilities of the NCase application and to give you a peek at some of the features. So as Doug kind of introduced, NCase is a web and mobile case management application that Red Main specifically developed with child welfare in mind. So it's meant to be used by staff in a variety of settings, as Doug mentioned. NCase is meant to be used in the office, on your computer, or on a mobile device when you're out in the field working with families. It works seamlessly, whether you have an internet connection or whether you're out somewhere, in a remote part of the state or working with a family in their home and you're not connected to the internet, you still have access to the full suite of NCase case management tools no matter where you are. Again, as Doug mentioned, the application is highly customizable, highly configurable, and what that means is that
We'll be taking the product that you're looking at today, and we will be configuring it for Arkansas and doing that with minimal coding and just 22 short months. So without further ado, I'll get us started. What you're seeing right now is the view of NCase from the perspective of a family service worker. So even the most basic functions like navigating through the case management system, finding your workload, looking up a client in the system, seeing your tasks and to-dos in NCase are presented in a really user-friendly and modern kind of way. So as we take a look at the NCase landing page here for that family service worker, some of the things that you're seeing, a list of to-do items that that family service worker has that they maybe created for themselves, or maybe that their supervisors created for them. What you see on the right here is their email integration. So they have the ability to log into their email account from right within the case management system without having to use multiple screens or pages. And then as I continue down the landing page here, you'll also see a bunch of records that this worker has been able to favorite for quick access in case they need to access those investigations quickly. The ability to attach notes or documents to a case file without having to do a bunch of clicking to drill down into one of your cases. The ability to see recent activity that's taken place on some of your cases. So I'll pass the mic to Rebecca to give a few practice notes.
Sure, so let's talk about what this means for you, right? So you come in the morning, you turn in your computer, you open it up, you have your email right there. That's what that white space is at the top. That's just because this is a demo environment, so we couldn't actually add our email in it. And your to-do list. These are typically what you probably see as sticklers or reminders, as system-generated items that you need to take care of. But as Sampati said, you can actually create your own to-dos. So no more sticky notes, no more lists in those notebooks of things you need to take care of. And your supervisors, when you're staffing, you can add those to-do things there for your workers that you need to make sure that they're addressing and taking care of. And also, Sampati pointed out, so the star records, so you might have 20 cases that you have to work, but today you want to focus on 5. So you can go in and start, these are the 5 that I want to see, that I want to be able to easily dwell into today to work on. And when you come back down to this activity log, how many times have you ever wondered, is somebody been in my case? What happened in my case? Did somebody put something in my case? Or if you share a case, you're primary or secondary, and you want to know if that other person has added in a case note, you would see it there and you would know, okay, I know that when they took my client to the doctor, here's the note from that, or they added the attachment from the doctor's appointment.
So in addition to these homepage widgets that we kind of took a peek at just now, I also wanted to kind of show off a little bit of the sidebar navigation here. And so this is just a quick way for you to access all of your different workspaces within the case management system without having to do a bunch of clicking to get to the different areas. So the first thing I'll do is just select one of them here. I'll take a look at what our provider resource directory looks like within the NCase application. And so the nice thing about accessing the case management system through your browser is that you have the ability to open as many tabs as you like. Use the back and forward navigation within your browser. Just simple things like that make the experience so much smoother. So what you're seeing here is the capability that NCase has to display any kind of data, whether it's your cases, your persons, your placement providers, not just in the traditional text-based grid or list format that you might be accustomed to seeing in CRIS, but also in a map view that's integrated with Google Maps. And so this is just a way to support your practice.
So typically when you're looking for providers,
Hit F11. You got garbage on the screen.
thank you. So typically when you're looking for providers, you want those that are closest to the families, right? Sometimes transportation can be a problem, or if the child is being removed and you want to have visitations. So actually we can do map overlays that will show you the providers that are closest to that child's removal home, as well as the school districts that they're in. And then once you actually see those little red flags there and you say, okay, this is closest to the child's home, or this is it within the school district, you can then click on those and then you can go straight to the provider record and actually see all the information about the provider to make sure that they're a good match.
So NCase is really a person-centered application. So I want to kind of give us a peek while we're here of what a person record looks like in NCase, just to give us an idea. You'll notice that when I go back out to my home page, I can open up my persons in a new tab. or within the same screen. So I'm going to do a quick search for one of my clients. And open up a person record. So one of the neat things about NCase is because you can access it on a mobile device, you can do things like take photos, draw, annotate photos, take audio recordings, all of that multimedia capability is built into the case management system. And the other thing is you have the ability to view information about a person, about an investigation, about a case, not just in this sort of traditional tab format that you might be accustomed to, but you also have the ability to view all of your information about a case or a person in a graphical summary format. So what you're looking at here is the exact same person record we were just seeing, but in what we call the 360-degree view. So you can immediately get an idea of the different information and connections that we have within the system connected to this person record. So that's that.
Sure. So when she first clicked on the person record, and you don't have to go back, you saw a picture of that person, right? This is not a paper file anymore. This is not just a stack of papers about somebody. That gives it a person, that makes it a person, right? So, and then with this 360 view, when you think about it, what's so great about NCase being person-centered is there's some information that should always follow the person. And then there's some information that should stay with that particular case or investigation. So when you're looking at this person record, you're not adding duplicate information, like in one particular case or investigation, you might have collected some school records or some medical records, and those are things that can always follow that person. And then when we'll show you later about some of the information. So really, even when you think about it at intake, one, we don't want duplicate clients, so this is a great opportunity to match up information, what you know about them. But also, it gives you the opportunity to, sorry, I'm gonna pass it back.
You're fine, you're fine. I think they're getting an idea, seeing this tray that we're showing for the person of all the kind of information that we collect for them, just kind of follow them around no matter what kind of case or investigation that we have them involved in. So I think the last thing I'm going to do is take us out to take a look at some of the capabilities that we have around investigations in NCase, because I think that really shows how we're taking advantage of the sort of modern functions. So I'm going to open up an investigation that's related to that person that we just looked at, just so we can kind of see the continuity and see what information lives with each type of record. So again, with this investigation, we could view it in that traditional tab format, or we can come out and see what the 360-degree view looks like and get a quick idea of, okay, what are the allegations of abuse or neglect that are associated with this investigation? What are some of the case notes that have already been reported? If I'm looking at this on my mobile device, I could pull up those case notes and have those dictated out to me while I'm on the road, so I can catch up on what's going on with this investigation before I go meet the family or do a contact. So going back out to the investigation, so a couple of features that NCase brings to investigations are the ability to take, attach, and annotate photos, like I mentioned previously, from within the application, as well as the ability to do electronic documentation and collect signatures from clients while you're out in the field. So we'll just quickly upload a photo to the case file just so we can see some of those features, and then fill out a form really quick. So I'm going to upload a picture potentially of an injury that this child in this home experienced. So let me go ahead and upload the file. If you were using a mobile device, you wouldn't necessarily use your file explorer like I just did. You could snap a picture using the native camera on the device. And the neat thing is I can not only upload this photo or take a photo, I can also draw on the photo, annotate the photo, as well as make any notes that I have. So let me cancel out of here. And then as I transition to the electronic documentation, Rebecca, if you have any notes.
Sure. So when she first showed the 360 view, when you think about it from a case level, really being able to look at what have I completed in this case, what do I still need to complete? And supervisors, when you're staffing that case towards the end and you're looking to see, has everything been done that needs to be done, this is a great way to go in and see what information is there, and you can actually navigate from the 360 view down to each of those documents or contacts from there. And with the pictures, when you think about it with mobile, when you're taking those pictures and you're trying to staff with your supervisor, trying to make a decision, and you're trying to describe it, and the supervisor's trying to imagine it, now you can actually take that picture and say, this is what I'm trying to describe to you. And when you think about those dirty houses, because we all have perceptions of what makes a dirty house, right? Now you're not just trying to, what is their perception, what is my perception over there? You get to really see it in real time.
Okay, so the last thing that we'll talk about is electronic documentation. So NCase allows you the ability to pull up the latest version of any sort of form or publication that the agency has electronically instead of having to plan ahead and carry around a paper version in your bag. And then once you actually pull up a form like we've just done here, I just pulled up a simple consent form. You have the ability to pre-populate data onto the form from your person, or in your case, your investigation that we already have in the system. That saves you a little bit of time and make sure that the data that you have on your form is accurate. Then you also have the ability to collect signatures from clients while you're out in the field electronically. So I won't bore you by filling out this form, but I'll just show you how we can collect a signature. This is something you can potentially do on your mobile device. Just hand the iPad or a tablet to the customer, have them sign it with their finger or stylus, and then you have that signature and you have that form saved within your investigation file, at which point you can now download this, print this, you can email it directly from the case management system securely to your client, and they will already have a copy immediately. So it just saves a bunch of time and makes things a little bit more efficient.
Right, so no more carbon copies, no more, if I could just fill out 2 of them and I'll sign, so you sign both and I'll leave one with you and I'll keep one, or I'll take it back to the office and make a copy of it and bring it back to you or mail it to you. Being able to just securely email it right there to the client. They have a copy, you have a copy.
So yeah, I mean, that was a very brief tour of some of the capabilities that NCase is going to bring to Arkansas. It's really just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what we're hoping to implement. For now, I'm going to hand it back to Miranda, who I think has a very exciting announcement to make. Yes, I do.
Okay, y'all, wasn't that cool? Like, just seeing those few features is awesome. I can't imagine what it's going to be like when it's built for Arkansas. And so all throughout the demo, you saw the NCase was at the top. That's the software that they are bringing to Arkansas, but we've got to make it Arkansas specific. We've got to add our own flavor and our own spin and how we do things uniquely with CACD. And we want to make sure we get our, the system built just for us. So we've asked for some names and some suggestions of the name. And what are we going to call this? We've had Chris forever, y'all. We've had it. It was weird saying it then. Sometimes it's weird saying it now. We're going to get used to a new name. I know it's going to be hard today. And some people are like, oh, that's not my name, but we're going to get used to it. I promise you all. So we did ask for consideration. We asked for people to nominate some names and put it in the hopper and let us know what was going to be, the name for this system. So we had to take in there are several different things we took into consideration. We wanted a name that was timeless and classic. We wanted something that would resonate with staff and with community stakeholders. So from the 150 submissions we got, we basically had 6 names that rose up for consideration. They were Our Focus, Bridges, Connect, Diamond, and Inspire. So of those 6 names, we put it out there for voting, and we've had the voting going on for several weeks now. And I would like to actually recognize 2 of our staff members who submitted a name for consideration that ultimately became the inspiration for the new name that we have. So one of them is here in the room with us today. So Miss Danielle Sims. And Danielle Sims, she is with Area 5. She's the Adoption and Resource Supervisor. She and also one of her colleagues, Ms. Terry Stevens, a TDM facilitator from Washington. Both of them actually submitted similar names that we took those names and modified them a bit. And so I think Laura is going to help me. So we are pleased to announce the winner with over 900 votes submitted, y'all. This is exciting. We are introducing to you today Our Focus. The name that we're going to focus on because I think it helps us, focus in on what's important for us, that it is improving the outcomes for children and families. This name basically embodies our vision that we want for our agency. So you'll see here in the middle of the page, we're here in the middle of the diagram, This icon is going to be your icon that's going to be on your screen. And it's also going to be on your app for, on your mobile phone. So that's going to be the icon that we use for this system. So y'all are extremely excited about that. And I think Laura just came up, so I'm going to introduce Ms. Laura Hobbleman. She's going to do all things change management and help us with some training.
Well, it's not just gonna be me.
Hold on, I just have to say, I have to give a shout out to Red Main because they helped us have a logo for the name today and the banner. Because how cool is it that not we only get to announce the name, but it is branded, it is logoed, it is exciting. Now, I do have to say, I'm gonna call it Focus, because doesn't it just sound good to say, hey, I worked out to Focus? So its official name is our Focus, but we need something a little shorter, like when you're in your day-to-day. So I'm gonna call it Focus. And I think, Danielle, that was actually, she was just a focus, I think. That's, you know, did you look in focus? Have you focused on your focus?
Yeah, our engagement, yeah, so next slide. So looking forward, and I know you said, introduce me as Laura Hobbleman, I want to say, I know there's going to be a team of us who are going to be doing organizational change management and communication. John Manell, please stand up, from NTT Data. Lacey Lawless, Lexi Ramo, where's Lexi in the house? Deborah Adams in the very back. You'll be seeing lots of us along the journey over the next 22 months. I want to thank each and every one of you. So you heard Doug talk about it's going to take everyone to build this project, and you've heard Miranda talk about it, and Misha talk about it. But we're going to be starting off our journey with organizational change management with listening to you. We're going to be running some interviews, some focus groups. We're going to be sending out a lot of surveys. We're going to ask for your participation as we hear from you about what do you need as we make this transition into this new world of technology that's going to improve outcomes for children and families, because that's really what this is all about, right? We can finally get back to doing the work that we were all called to do, whether I was called to do it from an IT standpoint, an executive standpoint, a vendor standpoint, or a frontline worker standpoint, or a foster parent standpoint, law enforcement, our financial folks. Everybody was called to this to improve lives. And so we want to listen to you about what you need as we make this change. We're going to keep you informed the best we can. You helping and listening to you about what you need to keep you informed is going to be critical. Do you need that through an email? Do you need me to make an area visit out to you? For my frontline supervisors, do I have any frontline supervisors out here? Regional folks in here? Do I have some regional folks in here? Regional directors? Yep, come on, guys, raise your hand up just a little bit. You know, do I need to come to you to have a conversation? Because we sure don't want you coming an hour this way for an hour meeting or a 90-minute meeting. How do we balance that with you? Because you have bigger and better important things to be doing, and that's keeping our children safe here in the state of Arkansas. And so that's really important. We'll be involving you with virtual meetings, area visits, stakeholder meetings, virtual learning opportunities. As you heard Doug talk about, we'll be able to give you a little snippet of what the product is going to look like. We don't want to come at the end of 22 months and have that be the very first time that you've seen what's coming your way, right? It's kind of like building a house. You don't get your building permit to move in, your occupancy, but you sure can watch that house build from the foundation up, right? Watch the walls go up. Watch the roof, watch the painters come in. You load in your own personal items, right? We want to make it a really personal thing to you. And so we don't want in 22 months to just plop it on your desk until we're really committed to not doing that. So thank you so much. I'm going to hand it back over to Miranda. We're so honored to be here. You'll be seeing lots of you over the next 22 months. And I look forward to this journey. So thank you. Thank you.
As we wrap up today's meeting, I just want to draw your attention to, we do have a new not a website, but it's a SharePoint site. So out on DHS Share, it's the Our Focus Resource Center. So that's where important documents are going to be found. We will post in the video from today's Zoom meeting will be out there. So if any of your colleagues missed it out of the county office, they can go back and watch this. But the Our Focus Resource Center will also be how Ms. Laura is keeping up with what's going on, what new changes are happening, and what modules being developed. So please check back on that resource center often and make it a favorite in your web browser. And we also have a new email address. So if you want to send in your questions, suggestions, things you like, you're not liking, that sort of thing, please feel free to email us. It's ourfocus@dhs@arkansas.gov. So please send in your information to that email address. And like I said, if you have questions today, if you put those in the chat, we will respond to you a little later in the week, probably. Got to be compressed from today, but we will get to those questions. And as well, this afternoon or just now, we get through, wrap up if you have questions. Please find any one of the team members that stood up today. They should be able to answer any of your questions. So again, I just want to thank you all for coming out today. Again, thanks for with the weather. I know it was kind of a little iffy, but it has held off. It's a beautiful view. Hope you all can take a moment to, snap a picture, snap a selfie with a Capitol in the background and be a nice picture. So thank you all so much. If you parked, we can certainly get your parking validated. So please see Nicole. Are you in the back of the room? Laura in the back of the room, somebody in the back of the room will be able to help validate your parking. So thank you all so much. Again, I appreciate you all being here today and look forward to this journey. Thanks, y'all.